Hi everyone, this is Tina today and I want to show you how I made my love canvases. So first I just took some gesso that I had and covered both of my mini canvases with a thin layer of gesso. Most canvases come pre-primed, but I always like to put another layer of gesso on top of my mini canvases. So I let that dry. You can either dry it with a heat gun or just let it dry, air dry. So after it was dry, I wanted to add some texture to the canvas. So I used the exclusive stencil from the June kit and some Liquitex light modeling paste for my texture. I like to apply modeling paste and gesso sometimes with my stencils with just an old credit card, an old library card, old insurance card. It really can smooth out the texture so you can put the same amount of layer in between the stencil. It works really well. So I'm going to apply the texture to both of my canvases. And as you can see from my videos, I'm kind of a clean freak. I always clean in between each one of my steps. So I let the modeling paste dry. Again, you can dry it with your heat gun or you can let it air dry. Then what I thought would be fun is to take the alcohol ink in the kit and start adding some color. And I laid this right on top of the stencil, so it kind of seeped in underneath the stencil and went into the modeling paste itself. So I just randomly dropped the alcohol ink onto the modeling paste. So I'm trying to actually thought about this after I had already put the modeling paste on the canvas, so I was just lining up the stencil back on the canvas. And then after I looked at the first one I did, I really didn't like the look after I had dabbed it off with the paper towel, so I'm just going to go back in and add some more color with the alcohol ink on top of the larger canvas again. And that's it for the two canvases. It's really fast and super easy. I always do that. I usually have a square or spare piece of paper laying aside. I always take my stencil if it has color on it and flip it upside down just to reuse it. So now after the alcohol ink has been applied, which it dries almost immediately because it's alcohol ink, I wanted to add some more color with the Twinkling watercolor, the yellow that was in the kit as well. So I just start applying the watercolor paint into the white spots on my canvases. And the Twinkling watercolors are really nice because they have a little bit of glimmer and shine to it. You can't really tell from the video, but it's sparkly in the yellow spots on my canvas. And I just keep filling it in, making some areas a little bit darker than others. The twinkling watercolors are really nice too because once they're dry, leave the lid off of it while it's still wet, and then once it's dry you can put the lid back on. If you leave it off, it just helps with it drying out, but they're really nice and portable too. You can take them if you're traveling. So I'm going to apply the watercolor to the second canvas. Same technique. And then I'm going to take a paper towel and just kind of dab off some of the watercolor from the canvases. Again, I think different layers, when you keep adding layers of paints or watercolors or alcohol inks, it creates more depth and dimension to your project. So now I'm going to go back in and add some more of the watercolor to the canvas and make some areas darker than others. And there I go, cleaning again. So now what I wanted to do was actually create a word to use on my canvases. Originally I was going to put the word be and put this canvas in my studio, but I decided to do something else. So I'm looking for the letters for the word love. I love these wood letters too. They're pretty versatile. You can use them in so many types of projects. And they're the fun little hearts that are in the set are really nice too. So now I'm going to take those letters and, using gesso again, cover the letters with gesso so it can take some alcohol ink easier. You could obviously color the wood letters with the alcohol ink without the gesso on it, but I wanted a brighter color to the alcohol ink on them, so I'm just covering the letters with gesso. You can see too, very often I use my fingers instead of paintbrushes. I think you can do it faster, and you can, especially on letters like this, you can cover all the edges of the letters a lot faster and easier without using a brush. It's faster with your fingers. So I'm going to dry those with my heat gun. So the gesso is dry. And then also just make sure my canvases are completely dry with the watercolor too. Now that they're dry, I'm going to go ahead and color my letters with some alcohol ink. After I clean up some more. Oh, sorry. Before we do that, I actually had a piece of tissue paper that I thought would be kind of cool to be behind the canvases, so I'm playing around with it to see how I really want this to look with the words. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue the letters down to my canvas. I'm just using Tombow wet adhesive. It's kind of my go-to wet adhesive. It works wonderfully and it dries fairly quick. And I think I've had this bottle forever. Okay, so now I'm going to color the letters. So I just put a little bit of the red alcohol ink on the heart. And now I'm going to dab it off a little bit because I wanted a more pale red to it. And again, it dries almost instantly because it's alcohol ink. And I put it in between the O of my love. I'm going to glue it down. Now I wanted to add a little bit of shine and glimmer to that heart, so I just took some more of my watercolor, my twinkling watercolor paint, and dabbed a little bit of the yellow on the heart and then dabbed some of it off, so it just makes that heart shine even more. So now I'm going to take some of the twine that was in the kit and wrap it around both canvases together. So I was just deciding what color I really wanted to use, and I really like the yellow. And this twine's kind of cool. It's different than your normal twine. It's more of a raffia twine, and it's thicker, which I thought is really fun for mixed media because you can use it for multiple things. So all I'm going to do is, I'm just measuring it out right now just to make sure I'm okay with the size of string that I have. What I'm doing now is, because of how the color in the alcohol ink is in the back canvas, I was really playing with the canvases to see what view I liked the most on the canvases and what colors were complementing what colors on each canvas. So now I'm just going to go ahead and glue the smaller canvas on top of the larger canvas. You can see I took the tissue paper out. I decided in the end I did not want it in there. I'm just gluing it down. Now I'm going to take the twine and wrap it around both canvases. I really like that look. It's super easy. I do that a lot with frames and home decor pieces where I just take a piece of twine and wrap it around, and something that simple really adds a lot to your projects. So then I took the easel that also came in the kit and I covered it with a coat of gesso and just left it white like that. And again, I did it with my fingers. And my little frames will sit right in the easel, and it's perfect for my studio. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial today, and thank you for watching.